There were also 82 named tropical cyclones last year. That's the same number as 2023. And we know this year was expected to be a pretty intense season.
Well, it was expected to be either average or just above. It wasn't expected to be hyperactive. And thankfully, it has been fairly quiet. But as I've mentioned, the peak of the season is, what is today, the 14th?
Tomorrow
through October 15th. So starting tomorrow, this is when we see most activity. And likely tomorrow, we will see our first hurricane of the season. Thankfully, Erin looks as though it's going to stay over open water. Right now, though, we are mostly dry on radar, but I know just driving back into the station here late this evening, and a few little light rain droplets on my windshield, had a few little quick sprinkles kind of pass over the area, but they are now gone. Some bigger thunderstorms right along the Texas-Louisiana state line, and otherwise we are now under clearing skies outside. Out temperature-wise, still in the 80s, though, and dew points in the 70s, so it still feels like 95. Welcome to August. Again, mid-August, we still got a ways to go before we finally start to see some cold fronts, usually by end of September. So maybe another 4 or 6 weeks or so. Who's counting? Heat advisory in effect tomorrow as those heat indices will be getting up to at least 110 or greater. It's about where we were during the day today. Upper 70s and 80s across the board right now, with those dew point values keeping it feeling like the 90s at 10 o'clock at night. Big upper high, that heat dome is moving back into the area. Doesn't look as strong as one we had seen several weeks ago, but one that will likely keep our rain chances on the lower side as this heat dome kind of dominates much of the southeast. Now, the good news is it's not going to last for very long. And notice it's not really as apparent as we get into our Sunday, a little bit more focused up to our north. And then it really starts to shift more west as we head early into next week. Right now, though, most of our thunderstorm activity from earlier today really had stayed more to our north, southwestern and southern Mississippi, as where the bulk of our storms were earlier in the day. Rain is gone now, and I think we'll start out the day dry, with the exception of some coastal thunderstorms. During the day, a few spotty to scattered showers, thunderstorms pop up. Could easily see 1 or 2 isolated downpours. That primarily the heavy rain that we do see, the threat is mainly from some possible street flooding or ponding of water, not really flash flooding concerns. And that is going to be the case over the next several days, 20–30% chance of rain. As we've been mentioning, out in the tropics, we have Erin with winds of 70. Once it gets up to 75, that is now a hurricane. So it is on the cusp. As far as Invest 98 goes, interesting, as I mentioned at the top of the newscast, Hurricane Center went and updated the chance of development to 50%, or increased the chance. And what is interesting about it is that you look at it now, the thunderstorm activity is all but fallen apart. What had been very healthy looking earlier. A clear little low-level circulation definitely there, and a new little burst of thunderstorms just to the north. So we will see what happens during the overnight. As I mentioned, regardless, this is going to be moving inland within 24 hours or so. By tomorrow midday, it'll already be inland, and it's mainly going to be a rainmaker. So it really doesn't have much time, even if it's able to organize into a depression. It's not as though the winds or the seas are all of a sudden going to become massive with that system. Where we are expecting some high seas is from Erin. This is going to become a monster of a hurricane, as it is likely to become a major, maybe now a Category 4 before it starts making that turn. Now, obviously the seas around this will be increased, but it does not look like we will have any direct impacts to land. 7-day forecast, 30–40% chance for tomorrow. We'll decrease that basically 30 as we continue through the weekend and into next week.